Ryan, I want to talk to you about 2 quick ways to save money on every purchase.
Okay.
So,
coupons.
You know what's funny is I don't do coupons.
I know.
And the reason I don't is because I have found in my own life, I'm not prescribing this to anyone else, but I have found that in my own life, if I cut coupons, save coupons, join rewards or loyalty programs, by and large, when I do those things, they actually encourage more spending.
Of course they do. Yes, they absolutely do.
And that's what they're designed to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I have 2 quick ways. In Alabama, I want to talk to you about this here in a second as well. So Professor Sean, make sure her microphone is on. So whether it's furniture or appliances or any non-consumables, the first thing that I will do is I will incorporate the 30-30 rule that we just talked about.
Yeah.
If it costs more than $30, I'm going to wait at least 30 hours. I'm going to wait for it. And sometimes the way that I'll do that is I'll put something in my cart. If I'm saying I'm shopping somewhere, I want to buy something online, I'll put it in the shopping cart. And then I'll go back to that shopping cart the next day and I'll delete all the items where I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't buy that thing.
Yeah.
And so the 30-30 rule, or the wait for it rule, helps me avoid the clutter before it ever enters my front door or shows up on my doorstep.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. The second thing that I do is I'm much more comfortable now buying high quality items used.
Sure.
I'm going to talk to you in a moment about how I just sold all of my furniture as we were moving.
Yeah.
It was this awesome experience. In fact, you know what? We can talk about it right now. And I think it'll be part of this little 2-step way to save money. Because when Bex and I were moving, my landlord at our apartment in LA, he came in to do his little walkthrough. And he says, I have rented hundreds of apartments to hundreds of people. And this is the nicest looking apartment I've seen. Who does your interior design? I was like, oh, I do. And he's like, what would it cost to buy all this furniture from you? I'm like, what? He's like, seriously, if I wanted to buy all of this furniture, everything in here, what would it cost me? And so I'm like, I don't know, man. A lot of this. And then I got a little clingy at first, right? Because, well, wait a minute. My identity's tied up into my couch and my table.
Yeah, and you spent so much time curating all those things.
And it's art. And we're going to talk about that on the Maximal episode this week, how the furniture that I enjoy the most are also, they double as art pieces. It's form and function.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where minimalism really comes into helping us simplify our lives, is the form follows function. I'm sorry. Yeah, form follows function, right? Quite often the opposite can get us into trouble, where we have some uncomfortable things, but they look beautiful, right? Or they get in the way. And so we'll talk about that as well, Ryan, on the private podcast this week. But I'm now much more comfortable buying used things. I'll give you an example here. As my landlord Kennedy said, I want to buy everything, I said, sure, I'll put together a list of everything that we have in here. Thankfully, I don't own a whole lot, so I was able to actually just put together a spreadsheet, which he was so impressed by. I'm like, it's just Google Sheets. Everyone has access to it.
Yeah. But you are the spreadsheet king, though.
Thank you.
I remember back in the corporate days.
I was concatenating formulas.
I very much admired your spreadsheet skills.
Well, thanks. But I just put together a very simple spreadsheet. Said, hey, here's everything I own, and here's what it would cost brand new. Now that it's used, here's what I'm willing to sell it to you for. And he was like, okay, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And then that twinge came back again. And I realized, oh no, but wait, maybe. And then I realized, oh no, here's the truth. Over the last dozen years or so, I've built up this special superpower, and it's called letting go.
Yeah, amen.
And I think that you must be willing to let go of anything to regain everything. You could tweet that, Sean. And I think quite often when we cling to something, it prevents us from gaining what we want to gain, doing what we want to do, experience what we want to experience, having what we want to have. And then what do? We cling tighter, right? Yeah. I really liked all the furniture that I had. And it was rather appropriate for the home that we lived in for the last 5 or so years. But it was less appropriate going into this new sort of forever home. Or in fact, we're going to talk about forever homes on the Maxwell episode. There's a question about forever homes, right? And what does that mean exactly?
Yeah.
But Bex and I found our forever home. And what we realized is like some of these things wouldn't actually be appropriate. We'd be cramming them into this space. And because we don't own much, we'll slowly populate the new space over the course of the next year or two until it feels right for us.
Yeah.
And so here's the second way to save money on every purchase. We talked about the 30-30 rule. The other way is to buy things used. Now, the two places that I go, Facebook Marketplace, and I just found this new Gucci coffee table, which are really expensive if you buy them new. He was an American designer back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And it's a piece of art. It's a beautiful table. But it's thousands of dollars if you buy it new.
Yeah.
And I found it on Facebook Marketplace for a few $100.
Nice.
2 scratches on it. Which gave
patina.
Yeah, there's some character to it, right?
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. I think in the Maximal, the Rick Owens video.
Oh yes,
but I love it. Like he's going through he's a designer and he's going through his home, his office specifically. He was like, I moved in here like this. I haven't painted anything. I haven't refinished anything. He's like, these little dents and scratches. He's like, I love it. I love the patina. I'm like, there is a charm to it. I mean, there is, dude, the, I forget his name, in Ohio, famous furniture maker, David T. Smith, I think.
Okay.
But I know people that worked for him, and like, you should see the contraptions that they have, the tools that they have to create patina on this furniture. I mean, you're talking about like a club with like nails and screws and like and they just sit there and they don't beat the hell out of it, but like they sit there and they like add patina to it, a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's crazy, man. They've really come up with some unique things to create this faux patina.
It sounds like one of those anger rooms, but a very light version of that.
Yeah.
I think you've gone to one of those, haven't you?
No, no, I haven't.
Has an escape room ever turned into one of those for you? You just started hitting the wall?
No, dude. No, but it's just funny because I remember when I was a kid, I would get so mad that I remember fantasizing about anger rooms. And it's just funny how like now they're actually a thing.
They are. You have to put on like protective gear and eyewear, and then you have like a bat or a chainsaw. I don't know what you do to go into the room.
Yeah.
And we won't put a link to it in the show notes.
No, we won't.
But it sounds like a lot of fun.
Hey, with the right attitude, any room can be an anger room.
Oh, yeah. I think the same is true with a calm room.
Yeah, or bathroom.
Did you enjoy this standalone Patreon highlight? If so, you can listen to full episodes of the Minimalist's private podcast available exclusively on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/theminimalists or click the link in the description. Your support keeps our podcast and YouTube channel 100% advertisement free.